Sweet. How you doing?
I'm doing good, sir. How about you?
I'm good. Nice to formally meet you. My name is Lieutenant Higgins. I'm Lieutenant for the Patrol BCSO, along with the warden of this beautiful place, Bolingbrook Penitentiary. One thing I'm gonna ask you as of right now, do you have your weapon on you?
Uh,
Service pistol.
Not on me, sir, because I know whenever we come in prison, we have to put it in locked storage. So I did put it in locked storage, but no, sir, not on me. I don't have
Sounds good.
PD stripes either. I put those in there too, same as repair kit. I don't know why I would do that with the repair kit, but I did it anyway.
hmm Okay. So, welcome. I'm going to be sending you the documentation that you're going to need as far as SOP wise. That is, as of right now, what you are going to follow when it comes down to DOC. If I say otherwise, can consider that otherwise. Um, Within the next couple of days or weeks, I should say, there will be changes not only to the SOP but how things run within inside the prison, along with the chain of command that has recently changed for DOC. So it's a little bit enough to follow along. If at any point you feel as if I am talking, if I am excuse me, if I am not making sense, if you're curious on the situation, you want me to elaborate more, feel free to ask. I do not mind answering questions. Do you have any questions as of right now?
Mm, are we allowed to be like inside? And
Of
I'm
course.
not sure. That's what I heard. Like recently, in past it was different. I did sign up in past too for DOC. But
hmm
yeah, I've been on a long break, so I don't know now what's right now. But in past, we are not
Yeah.
supposed to go in. That was the rule that we had.
Here, follow me. We're doing this entire thing inside of it.
So how many times and when can we pat down people? Only when they arrive here, or can we just pat down whenever we want, whenever we are
Um,
suspicious?
uh, I was gonna tell you, but I'll tell you now. There is a period every 30 minutes where you're allowed to search an inmate. If an inmate comes in here, like they are locally transported here, they are to be patted down. And after that, every 30 minutes. Same thing with cell shakedowns, every 30 minutes. Not only that, but you can also hide, people can hide things on roofs, they can hide things inside their bunks, in certain areas, in bushes, etc. So make sure you're very vigilant of that.
Because,
But yeah. So here, we'll do it on the roof actually. Come on. Yeah, welcome to Brook. This is the beautiful place, the stone I like to call it. So let me send this to you really quick. You can read. I'm going to suggest for you to read through it. Regardless, I will say, in most cases, when it comes down to it, you would. I usually suggest reading through it, even to break down a lot of things to you that will make the most sense. All right. All right, so there is the actual one. The one that's in the, I'm pretty sure you saw the one that's in the roster, and the one that's notified on the announcements board. Those are outdated. Do not use those. All right, you're good.
Yes, sir, I got it. Suppose I'm the
Mhm.
only one SDOC. Can I still stay inside, or should I stay outside over there? Uh,
So, when you are a member of DOC, you're expected to interact with the inmates and also give them things to do. And it's in consideration, a lot of these guys are going to be locked up for hundreds of months. And with all due respect, they are humans. Regardless if they are incarcerated and they are under our watch, they are still human beings. Treat them with respect, treat them with dignity and sanity as they should. If you feel as if you are uncomfortable with being here by yourself, by all means, you're a patrol. You're a certified in patrol for a reason. If at any point you feel unsafe, please notify that you're going to be going off, that you're going to be relieving yourselves of your duties, and you're going to be moving to patrol for your own safety. In the case before you leave, I suggest putting in the dispatch people that are inside the prison currently. So, reason being is because if something kicks off, or if you try to leave and something happens, they know who to point at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 10%.
Yeah. Right. You don't need to call me sir. You can just call me Higgins. It's all good.
Oh,
I'm another patrolman like you. It's okay. It's all
I
good.
just call everyone sir, sir. Like rank is not something. I just call everyone. I just think it's
That's
respectful. That's all.
understandable, madam. But we're all good.
You
All right.
don't have to
So,
call me madam
oh
or
no, I don't. I don't.
anything.
Oh, but you can call me sir. That's okay. All right. All right. So, I'm gonna be pretty much breaking down everything. I'm pretty sure you know everything from escalation to force, probable cause, reason, suspicion, all that jazz. I'm gonna go over that correctly, or should
Yep.
I?
No, so I'm good with all those things. Yep.
Okay. All right. So, as for DOC, it is a division that is basically a code. It's kind of like another side of patrol. When I first started out in BCSO, I was only doing corrections. I started as a corrections cadet, and I worked my way up to a lieutenant and a warden. So it's lovely. In consideration of all that, there is a lot to understand about the prison. However, it is really not that difficult in my opinion. I could be talking out of my ass because I've been here for a long time, but in consideration of all that, it is really not hard to understand your duties and understand the purpose of this place is rehabilitation. In a consideration of this, every inmate in here is human. I like interacting with them. I like talking with them. I like trying to be here as much as I possibly can. Can I be here all the time? No, but I try to be here as best my abilities to understand that everyone here is, going to go out and not think negatively of myself, my other COs, or the prison in general. Um, as for when you first get on duty, if you are the only CO on duty, so let's say if you're the only person that's going to be inside the prison, you're going to you're going to use your dispatch, and you're going to announce yourself as a active member of corrections, and you are going to say, "Find me on TAC 10." You are going to remain on TAC 10 radio unless a situation pops off to where you have to call for additionals. You need to go to TAC 1. In consideration of this, what I like to use is chat is excuse me, is 614 active corrections, use TAC 10. And when you
10%.
go off duty, it's pretty much the same thing. Corrections off duty or 614 corrections off duty, seize all items, use local transport. That's what you would do. In a situation
10%.
to where people send inmates with you being on duty and active as corrections, what I suggest is take down the names of the people that were responsible, and hand it off to the respective person in the command of DOC. So if you were LSP, you would go to Anthony. If you were SASP, you would go to Galante. And if you were and since you're BCSO, you would come to me. I deal with it in an administrative way. So that would be either strike, send off duty, pigeon duty, etc. Make sense?
Yep. 10%.
And that
Uh,
goes also for you as well. If you
I
are, go ahead.
I have one question in that particular time. When we take those items,
Mhm.
where should we keep it? Because what if my pockets are full? Is there any locker that I can keep it so whenever they are leaving, I can give it back to them, like their food, their phone, their radio, you know?
So, in a situation
Oh,
like this, right?
yeah.
Go ahead.
I guess I got the answer. I can seize the possession. Never
Mhm.
mind.
You would seize items and you would put it there. There is a situation where apparently, um, if you seize and send you see, sometimes it overlaps and Nancy gets confused and she gives them the wrong stuff, or she gets some stuff. I haven't had any confirmed reports on that, but just be vigilant of that. If someone comes in here and they have like a phone and stuff, just remove it off their person, keep it in your pocket until they are released to give it back to them, etc. But they shouldn't have anything in here regardless. When inmates are sent here, they are to be sent here with empty pockets, no phones, no radios, no, not even a fucking piece of like a piece of bread. They're not supposed to have anything in here. Um, as consideration, if the person is hungry and you want to give them food, by all means, if you have food on them and you want to make sure they don't starve, give them a piece of food. But other than that, everything should be removed from the person, regardless if it is an item that is restricted or not. They should just come in here with an empty pocket.
Info, sir.
Obviously, items that were restricted are like things like weapons of any type, including flashlights, pool cues, etc. Any types of drugs or alcohol, regardless of the legal amount, or if it is a medication. If it is a prescribed medication, we have to get confirmation from EMS in order for them to have that medication. It has to be done in moderation. As for anything that is like tobacco products or anything like that, stress relievers, etc., those are also not allowed. Now, there are times where people are going to get things inside the prison. It does happen. Unfortunately, there are some times where there are no COs here and people do sneak inside the prison. What should you do in a situation like that? Well, there are a couple things you can go about it. Usually, there's one way I like to go about it to where I go on TAC 1 and contact for 77s of people breaking into the prison. Majority of the time, they will run out screaming and crying like little bitches. Blatantly. It happened the other day when I was here. Two people tried to sneak in. I caught them red-handed, pulled my gun on them, and they all ran out. And then when I went to go confront them outside, they all decided to play dumb. It does happen more often than you think. In a situation like that, that is felony trespassing. They're not allowed to do that. If you have probable cause on that, you know, deal with it as you would as any other incident.
Yeah.
But I would like to go off of. We're gonna go off of this. As for as for inmates currently here, the one thing about this prison is that we are supposed to rehabilitate. What I mean by that is when inmates are here, and you don't want them just sitting down there working out. You don't want them trying to beat the shit out of each other. Give them things to do. Like there is a slushing machine in the cafeteria or the mess hall that is really really hard. Give complete 5 slushies. If they do that, remove some of their time off, etc. It's not that hard. Also, even running laps around the prison, cleaning graffiti off the walls, cleaning the bathrooms, the pool, and playing pool in the cell block. They can play pool there. It's pretty fun. It's not like there are things to do in here, and you can be lenient with them. You don't need to like punish them for anything. They're already being punished. You shouldn't really need to add extra time if they're being assholes sometimes. But if they have to, then you have to. Your main
Okay.
focus is not to be an asshole. Your main person is to be somewhat of a babysitter, but also like a person that they can talk to if they need them, etc. These guys are criminals, but they're still human, you know,
Awesome.
and we should treat them as such.
Is there a time, like what's the max time I can take off and what's the minimum time I can give to someone?
So in the SOP, the inmate must serve 75% of their original sentence. So if they were sent for 100 months, they have to serve 75 months, and you can remove 25. You do it all at once, or you can do it periodically, 5, 4, whatever the case is. In consideration of that, that will most likely be changed to where there are no limits and where you can remove time as long as you're not cutting the time in half for no reason or removing the time as soon as they get here. If that happens, it could be considered corruption. As of right now, there are no restrictions on that. I say if the person is behaving and they're doing shit for you, if it goes over the 25% limit, then I will respect it as long as you have a valid reason to. There are things that I like to do with these inmates. I like running around. I like working out with them. I like talking with them, and understanding where they come from. And a lot of these guys, they're misunderstood. They don't really, they just want to talk to somebody, want to do something. They don't want to just sit in this cage for 100 months and do push-ups all the time. Talk with them,
Yeah.
do things with them, etc. It's just.
Yeah.
It goes over the time. It is what it is. Yeah.
Got it.
Um. There are a couple things that I'm going to show you. But the one thing that we're going to go over right now is transports. When it comes down to transports, you're going to have the only limitations on vehicles is that it has to be some type of SUV, and that could be either a baller, a Scott, not Scott, either a baller, Scout, Landstalker, Granger, and any other SUV that's available. You can also use the prison transport van that is limited to BCSO if you choose. But it has to be some type of SUV. It may be removed at one point that you can use any car, but we usually like SUVs because it's more roomy.
Oh,
However, if you're go ahead.
oh no. I was gonna ask. Do we have like DOC vehicle here or no? Just like Triple SO have DCSO
The
vehicle.
only the only DOC vehicle that is available is the transport unit or the transporter. It's labeled under the shared vehicles inside of the shared vehicle option in BCSO or in triple SO. There are no DOC liveries, unfortunately, as of right now. It may change it most likely will change in the future, but as of right now, there are no things. As long as it is marked as a police vehicle, that's fine. It has to be have some type of police vehicle and livery on it. It can't be unmarked or a ghost livery. It has to be a visible car. That's why I'm lieutenant, but I still have the BCSO livery on my car because it's transported. Make
Okay,
sense?
thank you. Yep, sounds good. Can I use Explorer? I'll just buy Explorer then, because I don't have
Yeah,
SUV.
that's a scout. That's fine. You can use your personal vehicle or you can use shared vehicles, whichever one you want to do.
Yeah, I'm just gonna buy one that I can
Yeah,
use that.
that's fine. Um, when you're transporting inmates, obviously it would be the same way that you're doing it, like through the obvious portion would be go to the you're down in the cell block, you cuff them, you search them, etc. You seize their shit, you bring them up here, you process them as
Hey,
you would pretty much in any other station, but you would just bring them here. Um, if
what's up?
at some point you want to, let's say for example, you want to bring the person up here yourself, like you arrest a person, you want to bring them up here manually and, and process them here, that is a okay with me as well. I don't mind doing that. I will say be very wary about it, but and that's completely fine if you want to do it. If you want to process them in PD or triple SO and then transport them here, that is also fine. What I would suggest is if you're transporting them, give them some time off because that ride is pretty long, especially if you're at MRPD. Just keep that in mind.
Yep, got it.
All right, sweet. Um, as for transporting for court cases and stuff, we are in DOC. We also have bailiffs. It's basically the officers that stand in the courtroom, protect the judge, make sure that there's a class in the courtroom, swearing people in, etc. When you are bringing someone to a court case, what you are to do is to unjail that person and put in dispatch. This person is going to this court date, this floor, etc. Um, it will usually be in dockets, but in most cases, when you're transporting people, always put that you're transporting this person in. So you're always putting in dispatch because if that person ends up finding out if people escape or whatever the case is, if they escape and stuff, at least it's on record that hey, this person was there. You end up getting shot or something. It's like, oh, this person was last there. You know what I
I
mean?
see.
Makes the
Can I
most
ask
sense.
for other units to actually, escort the prisoner with
Yeah.
me?
No.
Because
Yeah. If you are in a even if you're just transporting from MRPD to Triple S to here or vice versa, I always suggest get an extra unit with you, or if they or request a arresting officer to transport you up here. Is really not that big of an issue when it comes down to it. Most guys will always comply, or they will find someone to help you as long as they're not like constrained with another situation. But regardless, I always, even if I'm here by myself and I need to transport someone, I'm always going to request an additional unit, regardless of the department. You should always do that. especially if it's a
Yep.
person for like a hut charge, which is like hold until trial charges, which are like murder, multiple attempted murders, terrorism, etc. Make sure you always have at least two people with you. In other cases, I would at least have one. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to transports, you're allowed to have two people in your vehicle per yourself. Again, if you feel uncomfortable, have another unit with you and have another person with you in the car or follow you, etc.
Got it, sir.
There have been prison hijacks. There have been where people were getting transported and they got sentenced, etc. Just keep that in mind. It does happen. It's not as it is not as what's it called? What's the best word to put it? It's not as common as it used to be, but it does happen.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, pardon me. I'm very very exhausted. Yeah. So transports. Okay. Moving on. Visitation. There are no limitations on visitation right now. Visitation is where they can talk to their friends, family, loved ones, etc. There is no visitation, even regardless of what crimes they did or their behavior wise. That is going to be changing. There will be a thing to where um people can only have visits when DOC is around. That's the only time.
Uh,
As for go ahead. You said something?
oh no, I was just asking, what will be the difference? Like, for example, people can go in front and just talk to the other person outside, you know? So how can we control them? Are prisoners not allowed to be in this area? I think it's open for people to actually go anywhere they want, you know?
So, as I said, there is no limitations as of right now. It will be changing to where gates and doors will be locked.
Ah, okay. Got
There will be
it.
restrictions on it.
Okay.
As of right now, there is not. In consideration of that, if inmates want to see people, there to be most likely it will be to where they have to be handcuffed and escorted towards the visitation room. They'll probably have a certain amount of time, but that is only probably when DOC is present. As of right now, that's not the case.
In person.
All right, sweet. Um, so yeah, visitation. Um, Processing. So there's going to be a processing room. I'm going to do a walkthrough so you know where everything is, and some things that aren't on the SOP that just I know of, and I like to tell people because if something happens, it makes the most sense to do it there. As for situations with processing, it's pretty much the same thing. There's Q-tips for DNA, and there are fucking fingerprint scanners in there as well in the mugshot room, so you'll be able to do the stuff there when you process people. As for situations like dealing with situations inside the prison, such as 13 alphas, riots, break-ins, breakouts, etc., the main thing is that you secure the prison. Obviously, there are probably more than one inmate in here. If there's more than one person involved, if they're trying to escape, be very vigilant. Make sure you do a head count. You should always make sure, hey, when I first come in here, the first thing you should think about, besides doing a perimeter check and everything and a cell block check, is to look to see who is inside and who is awake. There is no log to see who is just awake or who is in here currently serving time as like that's asleep. It is not that. It's only for when they're awake and like alert. If that makes sense.
Uh, the only thing I know is to check the medical. I think there are names there that we can see. That was in past. I don't know if it's still available.
I will show you for sure. I'll show you everything. Um, As for cell block checks and inmate pat downs, those happen every 30 minutes. If a person gets locally transported here, we were to pat them down. A lot of times they will be obnoxious when it comes down to it because majority of the time it will be to where they weren't searched properly and they have stuff or officers let them have stuff in here that they're not supposed to have. If that is the case and they have stuff that they are not supposed to have and they come in here, you're to make sure that that is put in a report and make sure that the officer is also recorded that did that or that was involved. So that would be the leading officer or the person that they claim that sent them, and that
Also,
should be a report in itself. Um, As for other situations, with dealing with stuff, everything has to be written in reports. So like cell shakedowns, pat downs, anything that's found on inmates has to be recorded and documented properly. If you look in your reports, it's pretty self-explanatory. A little bit down, 5189. There's a little cell shakedown thing right there. It's pretty simple. Just label it as DOC type, and then the title DOC shakedown. And then you would put any physical evidence in the physical evidence stuff, and you're also supposed to take a picture of it. In this case, he is supposed to bag those shivs. I'm pretty sure you know how to bag evidence. I'm assuming.
Yep. Yes.
Unlike
Yes.
this guy. But yeah, everything is supposed to be bagged when it comes down to weapons. So any shivs that are found, etc., guns, knives, etc., those are to be bagged evidence and to be recorded. Any fingerprints that are on them is supposed to be taken. That's supposed to be investigation itself. As for, well, since we're on the topic of contraband anyway, in the cell block, there are two people. One's named John, one's named Tyrone. They are lifers. They are in here for life. You'll see them when you walk in. It's not going to be. It's going to be pretty obvious. But these guys are, per se, very sneaky. Every time we walk out, somehow, every time we go back in, there's things hidden in the beds, etc. I'm going to show you what I mean, but there can be anything found from drugs, alcohol, materials, weapons, etc. found in those beds. That is why we do self shakedowns, to make sure that potential weapons don't get snuck in to where inmates can hurt themselves, hurt other inmates, or hurt other COs. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Same thing for pat downs. In a situation where an emergency happens, such as 13 Alphas, riots, etc., majority of the time, DOC is the only people that have keys besides DPS Council. At no point should a lieutenant from state come in here DOC certified, or any other rank that is not DOC certified or DPS Council, which is 01, 02, 03 of the departments. That is it.
Got it. Sir.
Make sense? If a
Yep.
situation happens to where that does happen, report it. That's it. Just, I would say, report it to myself and report it to any of the highest on duty. We'll go through your chain of command. Obviously, if you're reporting a person that's like the same rank as you, go to your chain of command. But other than that, make sure that you person understands, because that is much more than just a disciplinary action on the department side, if you know what I mean. But yeah, whenever a situation happens, especially 13 alphas, it obviously takes priority, but especially when it's in here, you have keys. You should be the first one in here. You should be letting people in, orchestrating what happens. Taking kind of taking like a scene command role. If you don't know what's going on and you don't feel comfortable with doing that, have someone else do it. But at least that you'll be able to unlock doors and kind of give a layout of the prison. In my case, majority of the time when situations happen inside the prison, I'm going to know vantage points. I'm going to know certain things. I'm not saying that you have to memorize all those. It does take time. But in a situation where like riots happen, majority of the time inmates will barricade themselves inside the cell block. Majority of the time they will be on this. There will be two inmates on the bottom floor, and there will be at least one on the top floor in a corner. And the reason I say that is because, well, he'll be on the right corner majority of the time. And the reason I say that is because it is very, very hard to hit inmates or people that are on the second floor. And the reason why is because there are stairs there, and it's a very weird spot to get in. They can shoot you, but you can't shoot them. Very annoying. As for other things, there are cell block doors, there are cells there are tables. You can hit a lot of things, and they can just hit you easily because all they have to do is aim for the door. In majority of the cases, be very careful, be very vigilant with that. Same thing for like roof access. Majority of the time, they'll be hiding up there behind some type of vent. And majority of the time, they'll be jumping on for vantage points. They'll be jumping off roofs, etc. It does happen. I'm just giving you kind of like examples, but when it comes down to it, the basis of it is the COs know the prison the best. They understand what happens. They understand how things kind of run. And again, it's going to take you a little bit to understand because you're going to be brand new. But even COs that if you just come in here, you explore a little bit. Even when inmates are not here, just look around, look at vantage points, look at things that you want, that you may like could be used against you, or that you could use to your advantage, etc. Like up here, not a lot of people know about this spot, but if you come over here, inmates have a habit of, because COs are supposed to be really down here. A lot of times they'll jump up here and just hide things in this corner, such as weapons, phones, etc. So that way they don't get caught when people actually do come in here. There are a lot of other things, like there are rooftop accesses. So you see these little cages right there, like those cages of like doors leading up to the stairs. So there's a thing to where if you jump onto an lecture box, you can flop your way inside of the gates to get on the stairs and get on the roofs. Another thing, you see those yellow barrels that are down there, like the ones that are just standing there?
Yep.
Yeah, they will tip those over, roll them over to the gates, jump, hop on them, and then jump the gates. I'll show you what I mean, but those are very common practices that inmates use to get on roofs. It gets annoying because all these roofs are connected, so you basically either have to cut them off or figure out to get them. Because the main focus of getting a person off the roof is to understandably get them like to safety, because they're not supposed to be up there. Like, yeah, you can charge them with attempted prison break, etc. But your main focus is to make sure that they are safe. Because a lot of
Yep.
times they'll do that in distress, or they'll do that because they're not in their right mind. It's a better option to just make sure that they're okay.
Yep.
But yeah. What else am I missing? We got that. We got that. So if you think about let's do this. So if you think about slash DOC time, you should be able to think about an ID, so like the person's PayPal, and then you'll be able to think about the sentence in general, the time. So the way that works is that is for how you add and take away time from inmates. So if an inmate is currently locked up in here, let's say I'm locked up in here for 30 months, and let's say that I get 15 months off for good behavior, right? When you do that, you don't put minus 15, you don't put anything else, or add 15 if you're adding time. It is just a total time. So let's say if I stab somebody, I had 100 months, now I'm being sentenced to an extra 15 months for attempted murder. In that case, I would put 150 months, etc., from the time they're being served. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, so if we want to deduct time, for example, that person have like 70 months and I want to take like 5 months off, I'll just add like 65.
Exactly. It would be the total amount of time that you have altogether minus. If you put minus 5, it's just going to put 5 months, and then they only have 5 months left instead.
Yeah, that would be,
So
yeah.
that it has happened before. Mistakes do happen, but I'm just letting you know to try to avoid it. Same thing with the jail function. Only do that in a consideration to where you have to take someone to court. Never fucking do it. Just never do it. And if anything, even if that's the case, when it comes down to it, just unjail them. Make sure you have people with you. You should get an escort before the case, if anything. But just be careful with that.
Yeah, got it.
As for, let's see what else I'm missing.
How can I check someone's time other than checking the medical pay over there?
I will show you. I'm thinking of anything else before we actually do the walkthrough, because it kind of was. Alright,
Yeah.
so you got that. Oh,
Get
perimeter
on.
checks. Perimeter checks pretty simple. You just take your car, go to code 2 around the prison, make sure that there's no contraband, suspicious packages, suspicious people, holes in the gates, literally. Anything like that to make sure that the perimeter is clear. Do the same thing when you come in here. Make sure that the inmates are safe, they're fed, etc. Do a little cell box shakedown, etc. I think that's it for right now. If I remember anything else, I'll let you know. But yeah. Come on. Oh, don't do that. All right. So we're actually gonna start all the way over here. Come on. We're gonna do a whole walkthrough. Oh, so as for inmate work programs, they can get time off by doing working with Tyrone, to where they'd be able to do like workouts, electrician, plumbing, etc., garbage taken out, etc. But the thing I like to say now is that since we should be moving more to a rehabilitation route. So give them activities to do. Like if they want to make slushies and you want to give them time off for that, etc. They want to clean the walls of graffiti and shit. Take their time off, etc. All right. So, and I say if it is, as long as it is justifiable and it is not like harsh, I'm okay with doing that. If you find something creative that I don't know of, feel free to do it. One thing I have been doing, and then other inmates and other COs have been doing, is taking like gardening supplies and stuff and bringing it in here for inmates to plant seeds and stuff, so they have other things to do, and they can take the food with them and sell it. You know, it's a benefit overall. But for the physical tour, this is the mugshot room. Say cheese. Once they are sent here, it's pretty much the same way as everywhere else. A nice guy named Tyrone will take your picture. He keeps them for himself. You understand everything. Make sure that if it's a violent felony, you take their DNA and fingerprints. Other than that, make sure that their stuff is on file, their pictures updated, etc. If they look different, obviously, take a new picture of them. Make sure they don't have glasses, mask, anything covering their face on, etc. As for here, you can just bend down here, grab the fingerprint scanner and the DNA swab. But yes, you come over here. This is nothing special. This is just the little waiting area. You have obviously the visitor center on this side. It's nice and homey, Have the little receptionist desk. Whenever inmates get sent here and they get their stuff seized by DOC, all they have to do is walk up to that counter and grab it.
Yep.
And those doors are also unlockable, but with all due respect, there's nothing really much in there. The only people that really go in there are my dedicated DOC guys that just sleep in here in their cubbies. That's really it.
Got it. Like how we sleep at Triple S, so.
Very much. All my guys like to sleep here. Okay. All right. So you have here. A lot of times there'll be graffiti up here. I usually like to save it for inmates if they want to clean the walls for extra time, etc. Makes the most sense. You have this little thing right here where you'll be able to do stuff. They'll be able to talk. They'll be able to sit down here and talk to their friends, etc. But they'll also be able to check their time and leave to talk to Mary, and she'll let them out. Yeah. Don't ever escort people out yourself. Have them do that for the time being, okay? Until we say otherwise. All right, let's go for a jog. God, this door's fucking heavy on this one.
Sorry.
All right. One time for the fun part. Over here, you have the inmate checklist right here. You have it on each side. You also have an alarm. Also, the stop alarm. Whenever an alarm goes off in here, make sure you come in here, turn it off, etc. Stuff like that. Makes sense. It's a very fucking annoying alarm, trust me. There you go. There's also one on this side, so check the inmate. Over here, this is actually a leaderboard that we started. So if you come over here, I don't know if you tried this yet, but look at the slushy machine trying to make a slushy.
Oh, I heard from inmates that's so hard to make slushy.
Try it. Don't be scared. Try it. Don't be scared. Be careful. You may get kind of stressed.
Stressed, yeah. I'm not trying it right
Be very
now.
careful. So that's another thing I like to make them do is you make me fly slushy as to cut your time. It's fun,
I see.
Oh yeah, but it's a nice little leaderboard. They get to customize themselves.
If they make slushy, Then are we supposed to take this slushy or can they have it?
No, they can have it. It's so the thing with slushies is it's food and water. You
Yeah.
know, it's just food. There's just food, and then you can have water. That does both.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
Yeah.
worth it. It's also very heavy for them.
Yeah.
So in a general aspect, if you want it, if you can do it for yourselves, but I usually let them keep it because, believe it or not, it's kind of valuable on the outside world. People like them a lot. Yeah.
Ah.
But yeah, so this is the kitchen. They were able to do kitchen work back there, clean, whatever, make food, etc. Obviously, the slushy machine, which everyone hates, but I love. Um, then you have the obvious, the yard. My favorite part of this place. Very roomy, very nice and sandy, all that. Um, there's a big loop around, so there's 2 yards technically, but this is the main one that they're going to be in. It's not a restriction for them to be over there. It just doesn't really make sense for them, to be honest. So
Okay.
just be vigilant of that.
Sure.
Um, Pardon me. But yeah, you have over here. This is another. I'm pretty sure you already know this list. You'll be able to talk to Latricia. She's a
Yeah.
wonderful lady. Very pretty. Come over here. Now this is another secure area. This glass is bulletproof and all that. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's bulletproof. Um, Come over here. You have a nice little armory, a stash to where you keep your personal belongings in there, and all that jazz. Situation happens to where you have to grab a flashbang and a jiffy. Come here. Um, I guess the
Are
one
we
thing I have to
allowed to grab flashbang now?
no, you
Like
cannot. No, you cannot. But I'm saying like if a command member asks you to do it, then you grab
oh,
it. But most of the time, it's only going to be command that grabs it, or high command that really should grab it. If it's a prison emergency and we feel like it's necessary, then I'll grab it. But majority of the time, that shit can be avoided.
okay. Got it.
Um, as for anything else, it is pretty self-explanatory. You come over here. So there are 3 rooms. We're not gonna go to that big one there because that's just the ICU. That's where people that end up going to see Latricia will end up, or if people need to get general care, they'll end up there. So like in prison situations. But in here, near the lavatory. Now there are a couple things. There are 2 cabinets. I don't know if you can see them. They're come over here. You'll be able to kind of stare at them a little bit. It's a medical cabinet. So that medical cabinet is not accessible to lockpicks or anything like that. The only thing that you can access that with is spoons. Don't ask me how I found that out. It was a very stupid situation. But yeah, they what the thing is that they use it to pick spoons and they can get medications, they can get bandages, etc. Just be very careful with that. There's 2 in this room and 2 in that room. The surgery room. I'll show you actually.
I mean, getting bandages doesn't sound that bad.
It doesn't, but when it comes down to like oxys and stuff, they're not supposed to have anything, especially when it comes down to medications. The possibility they can get bandages and stuff, but at the end of the day, that's why we have nurses and we have paramedics and stuff. It's more for like a general situation.
Got it.
Would I say it's the biggest thing that's contraband wise? No, of course not. But they're still not supposed to have it. Yeah, that's it for this portion of it. This is really the surgery room. It's really all you need to know. If major surgery needs to happen, they have to go in there. You have to go in there. All right. Before we go into cell block, we're gonna go over here. I'm gonna show you this. So big thing. These yellow barrels, I kind of told you already. But all you have to do is just tip them over and just kind of kick them. This And all you have to do is just do this and do this. Oh, that's the wrong. I have to put it over here. Anyways, you get the point. It's supposed to be like right here, and they can jump it, pretty much. But funny enough, that is a possibility for them to do that. As for backyard and stuff, it's pretty self-explanatory. They can do stuff in here, talk, whatever. Most of the time, they'll be in here socializing. Majority of the time. But these roofs are also accessible, so follow me. Oh yeah, all these roofs accessible. Ugh. Everything's around here. Be very careful. These are restricted areas as well. In a situation like this, a lot of times inmates will come in here. If they have shivs and stuff, they will sneak their way over here pretty much. If they come over here. And you see right there? That's the side port. That's where our vehicles are, and a lot of times visitors will come in, etc. Be very vigilant. There are ways to jump down. There are ways to do that. It's not closed. It's easy to jump down. Do you have any questions at all so far, Shelby?
I think I have 2 questions right now.
Go ahead.
So my first question is, when people suppose, like, I'm guessing our cops actually search people and then send them. But what if, suppose I'm inside with some prisoners, and not lots of them are there, only 2 or something. But people from outside, they come and they're like taking me hostage. Now, I can't really do much at that time. My life is in danger. How do I inform cops about it? Wow, my life is in danger. I don't want to put it, like, I can't really inform them.
I get your point, hon. The best way I can explain it is that when it comes down to it, in a situation to where your life is being threatened and you can't reach the radio or you can't identify things that happen, make sure that you put yourself first in anything. You don't want to get stabbed. You don't want to get shot. Make sure you just comply with them. You deal with the aftermath afterwards. If a situation happens to where there are people jumping inside the prison actively, call for 78s immediately. Go to TAC 1 and call for 78s immediately to the prison. That's just how it is. In a situation, they will come here instantly.
I see. And if suppose this happened, they actually, took me hostage, got the person out. But if the person goes out, then the alarm will ring. That is for sure.
The alarm rings. There are 9 times out of 10 be people switching to TAC 10 and seeing if anybody is available. If you're not responding to a prison break or anything, 9 times out, well, they should, but 9 times out of 10, they are going to race up here and make sure that you're okay. That's the general aspect, especially if you're here. One thing I like to say is if a situation happens to where there have been times where people will take inmates that will remove all your stuff and handcuff you and stuff. It does happen. A genuine aspect, just be vigilant of it. I would say do as best as you can to try to avoid those situations. If it is out of your control, do not beat yourself up over it. But it does happen.
Okay. And if suppose that situation happens and they just leave, I inform other officers regarding that. I don't know if someone will come or not. Should I actually make a report by myself, or if an officer comes, then should I
if you're here and you witness it firsthand and you didn't get shot down, 100% make a report of it because you know who the person is. You have descriptions of the people, etc. You know their license plate, their car, stuff like that. That is you. If you get shot, I wouldn't say worry about it because any officer that comes in here should be making reports regardless, and incidents regardless, warrants, etc. As for people committing crimes in here, so let's say I'm an inmate and I end up stabbing you, right? I have 15 months left on my sentence. I stab you, and let's say you're trying to add an extra 30 months. That stuff is contest plea. Do you know what that means?
Contest plea, like they don't want to
No,
plead guilty.
no
Oh,
contest
no
bliss. No.
contest. Yeah. They don't want to plead guilty, or they don't want to plead like uh, not guilty either. They
Yeah.
want to.
So. Mhm. Yeah. So the way it works is that when it comes down to no contest plea, when it comes down to the stuff inside the prison, they don't have a choice whether they plead guilty or not. It's no contest plea meaning full time, no fine, no reduction. So if they stab you and they get shot down, the person's getting full time, no fine. And it's going to be labeled in that incident as a no contest plea because they were inside serving sentence in boiling point. That is basically what it means.
Oh, so we don't actually. Do we? I'm guessing we don't have to read them Miranda rights, and we don't have to
Yeah,
ask them how do they plea because it's like no contest and
I always say
full
this.
time, but no fine.
I
That's it.
always I always say this. You can read them their rights, but regardless, it's a no contest plea. I say read them their rights, but at the end of the day, they can't ask for a lawyer because they're just automatically getting the time added to them. Unfortunately, if they want to speak to a lawyer, they can request to speak to a lawyer, but they're going to be sent and they can appeal it afterwards.
Okay, got it.
Make sense?
Yep.
All right. So you look at Tyrone here. You'll be able to view a bunch of jobs. You'll be able to see 4 of them. They're going to be electrical, kitchen, garbage, and workout. Most popular thing is going to be workout because they don't really get to move around a lot. They can just do workouts and stuff.
Yep.
But yeah,
got it.
yeah. This is my favorite portion, the cell block. I love this place. It smells like shit, but it works. Basically, all of these cells are pretty much the same. The only one that is unlockable and unreachable is cell 20. Don't ask me why. It's been like that for a while. I'm pretty sure inmates just stuffed a bunch of toilet paper in there and forgot about it. But just be careful. Um, as for the rest of the cells, if you follow me real quick, I want you to look at this bed really, really hard. You're gonna be able to see an option to where you can move the mattress. It's gonna bring up a little thing, and once you completely moving up, you'll be able to. Sometimes you'll get stuff, sometimes you won't.
I got a shift.
Did you actually? You serious?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'm serious.
Oh wow. Yeah. That's one thing that they can. It's basically just a rusty old piece of metal. In this case, this is the prison weapons, and in this case, I'm gonna back this before I poke it in my pocket.
So we can always go ahead and search their beds and the cell if they actually hit something or not. Okay, got it.
Yes, 100%. In most cases, that's how they do it. Shibs are always supposed to be bagged and stuff, so kind of like I'm pretty sure you already know what it. I'm pretty sure you already know how to do all that stuff, but you know.
Yeah, I know how bad it.
Yeah. That's
Whenever
basically for the entire thing.
whenever I get stuff from bed, now do I have to make a report about that, or can I just put it in the evidence?
Yeah. Yeah, so what you do is you go over here, you go to reports. If you look at 5189, there's kind of like a copy of a report. It's kind of like that same thing, except you fill in the following information that is relevant to you. So obviously the date, your time, and then your call sign and name. And then during the shakedown, the following items were seized, secured, and removed from the cells. I usually put seized, documented, and put into physical evidence. That's what I usually say. You would put the amounts of each, so 2 times the shiv, 4 times iron or metal, whatever the case is, and you would put it in the physical evidence. Most of the time, I would say make a actual full evidence report on it. So like cell shakedown items found, etc. If it is a shiv, obviously, or any type of other weapon, make sure you bag them as evidence or in the evidence baggies and do it so on and so forth. Make sense?
Yeah, got it. So.
Yep. So it's kind of just like a regular report. And make sure at the end of it, you go to the tags and just tag DOC. That's about it. Just so when I look, I don't have to fucking type in like a bunch of different words to find every shakedown. But yeah, that's for all of these cells. You go down there, you see that nice little guy down there. His name is John. He's a meth addict. He's in here for life. So he's where you'll be able to get your prison uniform. Yeah, so they can get their prison uniform, they can get stuff from the lost and found, etc. That pool table works. If you want to play pool with inmates or you want to play pool by yourself because you're lonely in here, by all means, go ahead. I usually play inmates for time. I did get stabbed with a pool cue once. Just keep that in mind. But that's a possibility for you to do it if you wish.
Wait,
And
can
then
they stab us with the pool cue or no?
no. Well, it's hard to say. I got stabbed because of game of pool, not really with the pool cue, but you get the point.
Ah,
It,
yeah, got it. Okay, got it. Yeah.
yeah. So, as for this skybox, pretty self-explanatory. That's where we are really supposed to hang out, especially if there's a lot of people in here. But I say this: interact with people as much as possible. Don't be afraid. If you are afraid, you can leave at any point in time. You don't need to stay in here. If you have a requirement, you can come back later and do it if you don't feel comfortable being in here by yourself. Or you can request other officers to be in here with you. That's perfectly fine. Um, as for that skybox, it is very hard sometimes to see people. And also sometimes people won't see you. Just keep that in mind when dealing with situations because sometimes people won't see you or they don't understand or whatever the case is. As for those chairs in there, do not sit in them. And I know I just said that because you think I'm tempting you, but you honestly just don't want to sit in them. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Okay. You say so.
Yep. You figure out for yourself if you want, but that's on your own time.
Okay. I have one question still.
Go ahead.
So suppose, I mean, I don't think this is possible, but suppose there are like, I don't know, 7 to 10 inmates, lots of inmates are there. I alone can't control because no one is listening. I'm asking them, hey, let me pat you down, but they're not letting me pat them down. I think at that point, I don't want to be here because what if they have something? My life is in danger. And at the same time, I want to do my job, but I can't because they're not letting me. So can I leave the prison at that time? Just for time
I
being?
say, I get what your point is. I say this right. Let's say we're down like South LS, right?
Yeah.
And I roll up to the Vagos block. If I
I'm
see
going to
about
call
10
insurance.
Vagos, if I see about 10 Vagos, I'm not going to stay there. And I don't
Yeah.
expect you to as well if you're going to feel like you're in danger. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's a
Okay.
situation to where it's avoidable, then avoid it. If you feel like you're in danger, I don't want you to feel in danger. I don't want you to be scared when you come here. I don't want you to be any of that. So take it your own precautions. Deal with how you would make sure your life is valued over everyone else's. Makes sense. I don't want you to like feel scared. I don't want you to feel pressured that you have to do this. At the end of the day, it is your choice. You decided that you wanted to take that step forward, and I'm happy that you wanted to take that step forward. But
Oh,
know
yeah.
that there are dangerous parts of this job. Love it, and guess what? They have guns, they have knives and guns and stuff and everything out there. But a lot of times these guys are bored and they'll stab you because they want to stab you. It's not
Yep.
really. It just depends. You know what I mean? You just got to
Yeah.
be vigilant. You have to understand the certain situations that you can be put in.
Yeah, I think I can handle, like, for me to start, I can handle few people, but lots of people I don't think. Not at the start, but I actually like to
Uh-huh.
talk. I really love that, so I think I can actually manage to do like uh, rehabilitate them. Yeah. So I think I can do that. That's why I actually applied here. I wasn't thinking in start, but I was like, hey, I actually like to do this. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's always up to you. I say keep in mind that you're a person. I don't want you to feel pain, and I don't want you to put yourself really bad spot because at the end of the day, I've been there, done that, gotten stabbed, shot, everything that you can think of happened in here happened to me. It's just the inevitable, but I am still here. I still love it, and it's my home. I came here. I didn't expect to get this far, but I'm here and I enjoy it. Just keep in mind that there are genuine good things about this shop.
Yeah, got it. So
Keep it positive.
I have one question. How, like, when
Go
I'm
ahead.
serving my time here, Will that be timed the same as my cop, like when I'm on duty on
Yes.
SBCSO?
Yes. You will be clocked in on duty as a cop.
Oh, okay.
It's dual cert. So you can do either this or you can do patrol or you can do both. Whatever the case is, there's no current time restriction or time thing on DOC
Mhm.
as far as like promotions and stuff.
Yeah.
Cadets are a little bit different, but obviously, if you're making your hours within the time requirement for your patrol, it should be fine. As long as you show face here and you do what you're supposed to do here, it is fine. Keep in mind, it's different for everyone. I once I see people being in here, I take note of that, and it doesn't go unnoticed. And that
I
goes for
see.
all the COs and across all departments.
If there's a CO present here doing the job, can I be here too at the time, or should I make sure that whenever no one is here, only then I come here?
There can be as many people as you want. It does not. There's
Oh.
no amount of people. There's no limit. You can if there's 10 COs here, by all means, I would love that. I would honestly love that. Does it happen all the time? No, but it does happen. And what I say is, genuinely, I think that people that want to do DOC, at the end of the day, it is going to be great. I would say
Okay,
that,
yeah. I'm gonna ask you one last question. I think this is my last one.
sure.
Now, when I'm booking inmates, there was time in past, and this just happened recently too, when I was back after my long break.
Okay, go
uh,
ahead.
People are asking me to be in prison, but I was like, hey, I can't be in prison because I don't have keys. At least that's what I said recently. In past, I was like,
Mhm.
I can only be outside. I can't come in. So now,
Mhm.
can I come in and be DOC after that? As like,
Yes.
if I actually prison those people, can I even then come back in as DOC, then log back in here?
If you so I say this, so you're saying if you process someone and be like, hey, can you go to prison with me? Is that what you mean?
Not
Like if you
prison. Like, hey, see you in prison. You wanna come and meet me in prison? That's what they asked me to do.
Yeah, you
Come in.
can if you feel comfortable doing it, like I said, you can take people. Here's the thing, right? You can just what I say is if let's say if I'm processing someone and they want me to be like, hey, you're DOC, right? Do you want to be in the prison with me? And like, yeah, why not? I'll take you up there. We'll do something, whatever.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean that's what you can do. If you have keys, you're able to do that. There's no restriction. The only thing is that you can't be in here in prison with people that you are in a relationship with. That regards to if you are dating a deputy or a person that is currently incarcerated.
I'm not in relationship with anyone, sir. I'm single.
Well, yeah, there you go. So if anything, is shouldn't be a problem as
Okay,
long as
sir.
you're
Got it.
not in a romantic relationship with somebody. That's pretty much it. That's the only boundary.
Okay. No, sir. I'm single. I'm not in relation with anyone, sir.
Okay, thanks for letting me know. I'm trying to think. As for towers, you have to be. Are you class 2 certified by any chance?
Negative, sir. I'm not. I was in past, but I have to do it again now. So no,
Okay,
sir.
so I want to keep this in mind. I'm not gonna do it now because I am way too tired to do that cert, but because I'm going to shoot all over the place. But when it comes down to it, when it comes down to the class 2, we have towers. So I'm pretty sure you saw a bunch of towers like up top and the roofs, of course. Those you're allowed to carry class 2 firearms with you. So class 2s consider a carbine rifle, or I'm sorry, not a carbine. It's going to be an MK14, or it's going to be the M4, whatever the case is. The MK14 is the sniper. That is only reserved for DOC, and that is only reserved for high command. At no point, if you are a DOC person, at no point should I see you with an MK14 on your back what is seen, unless it is verified by high command that you are allowed to do that.
10-4,
I do
sir.
not do it as a lieutenant. Do not bring your MK14 out. What I say is put it back in your locker or put it in a lockbox that is only certified for DOC. So that's why my scout has my MK14 in it, because I only use it for DOC. If you bring it
10%.
out, if I'm just saying this now because I say it to everybody. If you bring it out and you get caught doing it, you have a chance of not only losing your Class 2 cert, but also losing your DOC cert and a suspension. Be very
Got
careful
it.
with that. Be vigilant. All right.
Got it, sir.
Okay. I think that's all I really needed to show you and tell you about. As for stuff, do you have any confusion on anything that I have said?
Negative, sir. Nope.
Do you have any questions, comments, concerns about anything I've said?
Not right now, but in future, as I will go, if I have any questions, I will let you know.
Sounds good. Okay, so at this point, you're going to be certified as a member of TOC. You're only going to be verified for prison. If you want to get verified for a bailiff, which is going to be the certification for if you're going to work court cases, that's you are going to have to be present for a court case, and the person has to report that you physically saw them doing it or have physically partaken in the situation. So that includes courtroom swearing people in. That includes transporting people in and out to the to either the jail to the courthouse or vice versa, and or courtroom what's it called, monitoring. So making sure that everyone is calm, making sure they all have masks on, etc. Make sense?
Yep. Got it, sir.
All right, deputy. So congratulations, you are a member of the DOC,
Thank you, sir.
Department of Corrections. Do you have any
Um,
questions at all about anything?
Not right
Even
now,
as
sir.
it's not DOC related either. You're good. We're all good here.
I'm guessing there's no garage or clothing room to change here. I'm guessing so, right?
Garage? What do you mean garage?
Like
Oh, like the car garage?
triple S, so yeah, car garage. Put my vehicle in.
You can put your vehicle. You can park your vehicle here if you want. There is the parking lot outside. There's also a garage to where you'll be able to repair your vehicle outside as well in the sheds.
Oh, I would
So you'll be
actually
able to
like
do
to
that as well.
see that because I don't think I know about those.
Sure. No problem. That's right. Follow me.
In my car. Okay.
That's the garage.
Oh, it's nice.
Pretty simple.
Oh, got it.
So you can park there, or the ones that were over by that blue car over there. Those are also parking spots.
We check that.
Majority of this parking lot is parking spots.
Got it. That's
Mhm.
all. I guess my questions are done, sir.
Yeah. Here. I'm gonna hand you your keys. If you have any questions, you feel free to let me know. Okay.
Okay, info, sir. And about the
All right.
clothing, we don't have a clothing room, right, sir? It's at triple S, sir.
Yeah, I was just doing it in Triple SO. Johnny, that was in the cell block, the white guy that was in the orange. You know what I was
Yeah.
talking about? He's a clothing guy. If you want to talk to him as well, he can get you close to the lost and found. I usually
Yeah,
suggest if you're going to do
I'm not gonna
anything
change
related
in front
to
of
that.
my own inmates.
I never said to. I'm just saying that's a suggestion.
Yeah, I'll do it.
All right then. Sounds good. All right. We're all good then.
Yep, got it, sir. I'm gonna go ahead and change the clothing, make sure that I have the clothing whenever I do the duty. So.
Okay, so the way that it's going to work is that you're gonna have this type of shirt. You're gonna have the t-shirt, or you're gonna have the white collared shirt. I don't necessarily know the things for it. I have to get the thing for it, but if anything, you can wear that for now until I actually get the updated form. Okay.
Okay, sir. Got it.
All right. Sounds good. All right then. If you have any questions, we're good then.
Yes, sir. We are good. But I'm gonna go to bed right now. I'm gonna change my clothing later.
Yeah. So am I. All right then. All right. All right then. Take care.
Have a good one, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
Good
sir.
night, madam. Not a problem.
You were saying, I saw what you wrote. I saw what you wrote. I know if I'm on festival, I'll be a criminal. I'm not gonna be able to see. Of course I know that. Rob. What you talking about? Huh? What you talking about? I don't know if you know this, Lord, but I was a DOC before in other server. And I was like, everyone used to like me being in UC, like in prison so much. Like everyone used to like just come in prison and be there. And someone actually some people actually did stuff, and they tell me that they did stuff because so that they can be in prison and talk to me. I was like, what? No. I mean, of course I know they're lying. I mean, okay, some people may not because they actually did something really not that bad, but they just wanted to be in prison. Some people actually do break it in prison sometimes, and they're like, I just like being here. I was like, okay. I remember there was one person who always used to break in prison because he liked being in prison. Yep. I'm gonna check on check one. What's happening? I don't think anything is happening. I'm gonna 42. I'm gonna have. Let me drink and then I'm gonna. Oh yeah, I have to pray. down smiling. Five two nine. And my report. What about my report? Oh yeah, it's done. Easy. After the Nothing looks good. I'm just gonna go to bed. I'm gonna 10:42. I'm done with the reports. Anyways, bye.